late game execution.
No, ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah.
And you got to love ESPN. You really have to love ESPN. You really gotta love Stephen A. Smith sometimes. So I guess the talk of today, and I heard it from Dreams Pro, and then I heard 78 Sports and Too Raw collab about the same topic, and then I just heard Too Raw say something about it. So guess who's time to talk their piece about this whole situation? Moi. Me being from Milwaukee. Born in Milwaukee. Halfway raised in Milwaukee. Halfway raised in SoCal. But anyways, like, share, subscribe, because forget the structure. I'm about to go in on Stephen A. Smith. And I'm about to go in on a lot of stuff, because I see a lot of people shucking and driving with Stephen A. Smith, trying to make sense of this stupid ass take. And yes, I agree with Jay Williams. This was probably one of his most idiotic, stupid ass takes ever. So, if you guys don't know by now, Stephen A. Smith sometime last week on First Take. I don't know when. I don't watch First Take no more because it's dumb. It's gotten boring. It's gotten repetitive. And I'm getting tired of the debates because the debates are stupid as hell. But apparently, according to Stephen A. Smith, Giannis only winning one ring in Milwaukee is an underachievement on his career. Well, I do say this. Milwaukee, for the longest time, since its inception as a team, the Milwaukee Bucks, back in 1969. Actually, Milwaukee back then, was they considered to be a small market team or a big market team? I don't know. The standards of the NBA were different back then. But from when I did my census research, Milwaukee used to be a top 10 city back in the day, population-wise. Yes, it was. Before the rise of the other cities that are now currently in the top 10. Yes, it was somewhere right behind, or where in the area where, I think Dallas is number 8. It might have been number 8. I can't think of the top of my head, but I know it was in the top 10 at one point in time, somewhat through the 60s and 70s, before it started going downhill, because Milwaukee's near Lake Michigan. Not many people want to live near Milwaukee. Live near Lake Michigan in the snow. Milwaukee's not like LA or anything like that. That's one of the reasons why I never moved back to Milwaukee, because now I am spoiled and have lived most of my life on the West Coast. As they always say, once you turn into Muhammad Ali, you never can turn back into Cassius. That's a Kanye West lyric from like 10 years ago. But anyways, Milwaukee is one of the top 10 largest cities in the United States at one point in time. And they got a team, of course, the Milwaukee Bucks. And it took them only 2 or 3 years to reach a championship. Because I think the first year they was just downright terrible. And then they got lucky enough to draft Lou Alcindor, a.k.a. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And then they got Oscar Robertson. And then the rest was history in 1971, right? And they got back to the finals again. For most of Kareem's years in Milwaukee, they were somewhat competitive and a championship caliber team. And then Kareem left, went to LA, sort of like what I did. They were still pretty much in the mix of it all, really throughout the 80s. They was probably one of the best teams that just couldn't get to the championship, get to a finals, because they had to face either Boston, the 76ers, Detroit even at one point in time. But for most of the 80s, they was competitive. They had people like Sidney Moncrief, people like that. I don't know why my mind went blank on people who played in the 80s. I don't know why that just happened. But Marcus Johnson, Terry Cummins, they had people like that. And then once the 90s came rolling, then they just went downhill, especially during the beginning part of the 90s. Then they got lucky enough in 94 to get the number 1 pick in Glenn Robinson, big dog, Glenn Robinson. And then 2 years later, they got lucky again, got the number 5 pick trading Stephon Marbury for Ray Allen. And then it took a while, and then eventually the Milwaukee Bucks are considered title contenders in the 2000-2001 season, that season they got robbed because the NBA did not want to see a smart market team in Milwaukee going against the Kobe and Shaq Lakers. They rather had seen Allen Iverson and the Philadelphia 76ers. Yes, the NBA cheated for them. It was in the reports of Tim Donahue. This did happen. But shortly after that season, Milwaukee was still considered to be a top title contender the next season after that, but they fell short. Didn't even get to the playoffs, and then the next season, they pretty much broke up the team, getting rid of Lebron Robinson. I think he went to Atlanta. We all know Ray Allen went to Sonics. Sam Cassell went to the Minnesota Timberwolves after that. But during this time of their somewhat peakness of, I guess, being great, they did have Michael Redd. Michael Redd came along. Michael Redd tried to lead that team. He got the team to the playoffs in 2004, 5. I don't know about 6, but they fell short because it just wasn't good enough. Couldn't get people there because nobody once again wants to play in Milwaukee. And Michael Redd, late in his career, as we got closer to the 2010s, just had all kinds of injuries. I think he tore his ACL like a couple of times. And I think even one year they got to the playoffs without him. And of course, the number one pick, how I can forget it, Andrew Bogut in 2005. Man, that freaking Gilbert releases all over the place. Gilbert PD just be everywhere. Why not even going down the street? But anyways, Andrew Bogut was the number one pick. Hold on right quick. Hold on. Freaking Gilbert PD got nothing else to do. I wish they would follow me. Follow me. God, I hate Gilbert PD. I'm gonna switch it up on it pretty soon too. But I don't know if you guys can hear me because my phone is in my lap. But yeah, Andrew Bogut was drafted in 2005, number one draft pick that year, and they thought with Andrew Bogut and Michael Redd, that team would be great. Never happened. Andrew Bogut got hurt one year. I think Andrew Bogut and Michael Redd both got hurt. Andrew Bogut got flipped over by Amari Stoudemire one year, and hope you guys can hear me now. Freaking Gilbert PD. I swear to God, I hate Gilbert PD. Gilbert Police is all over the place. They got nothing else to do. But anyways, as I was saying before, I was really interrupted. Andrew Bogut and Michael Redd never can get to the playoffs to each other because every time they had a chance to get to the playoffs, they got hurt. This happened most notably in the 2009-2010 season. Like I said, Andrew Bogut got flipped on his head by Amari Stoudemire, and Michael Redd, I think, did something to his knee. And this team was actually led by, did they have Brandon Jennings? Yes, Brandon Jennings, who was also drafted in 2009. John Salmons, Carlos Delphine, I think that was his name. Who else was on that team? Elias Asobia, I think, was on that team. And that team took the Atlanta Hawks to 7 games. Bucks didn't get back to the playoffs in 2012. I think 2012-2013 season it might have been. No, 2011-2012 season. It might have been one of those seasons when they got swept by the Miami Heat. During this time, the phrase "fear the deer" was quoted by Brandon Jennings. And then the Bucks had a 15-67 year season. And that was the reason why I take that back. I got my facts mixed up. 2013, they did draft Giannis. He was like a low lottery pick. But the season after that, they was 15-67. Got old boy from Chicago that played at Duke. I forgot his name. Jabari Parker. Got Chris Middleton in the trade that sent Brandon Jennings to Detroit. And slowly but surely, the legend of Giannis built. And the next thing you know it, the Bucks are title contenders in the 2018-19 season. Giannis is MVP. Bubble season, Giannis is MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. Next thing you know, we got a championship. So, the Milwaukee Bucks have been somewhat of a struggling franchise. I would say somewhat historical, but a struggling franchise for most of the 90s and the 2000s. 70s and 80s, they was legit. So, I say all to say this. What Giannis has done for the city of Milwaukee so far in his career has been absolutely an achievement. Milwaukee being a small market team. Not many small market teams can get to the finals every year. The only one that pretty much did that was the San Antonio Spurs. Outside of that, been nobody else. So even Jokic is included in this. What he has done so far for the Denver Nuggets is not underachieved. Stephen A. Smith is a clown. He don't know a damn bit about anything. He just be talking out the side of his mouth so he can hear himself talk and pat himself on his back. But also at the same time, this is a way for Stephen A. Smith to work his magic to get Giannis out of bottom of Milwaukee. It worked for KD, and he's trying to do it for Giannis. But Giannis has been pushing back on ESPN and Stephen A. Smith. Giannis recently came on saying he never said anything to anybody about leaving. So Sham Charania has been nothing but a sham so far. ESPN does this. I think they probably can collude with the NBA's front office to get players to switch up their minds and leave. Simply because they don't like Milwaukee. And they probably struggling right now to like Indiana and Oklahoma City right now. Because Indianapolis and Oklahoma City and Milwaukee are all in the same type of city. In my opinion, blue-collar type cities. And not these exotic, fancy cities like LA, Miami, New York. Shoot, even San Francisco. You want to count it in there. Houston. Ain't these rapper cities. It's not a rapper city. It's not a city where everybody's at. Milwaukee is. So they're trying to do their best to get him out of there. But Stephen A. Smith is slowly making enemies as well. Because ain't it now has a list of enemies and let's see here. Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, slowly making an enemy out of Giannis because I think Giannis checked him not too long ago. Tyrese Halliburton has Stephen A. Smith has gotten on Tyrese Halliburton's nerves as of recent. This guy's just making enemies out of everywhere. So I don't know. Stephen A. Smith. You're working your magic. Hold on right quick. Now somebody wants to call. Well, as I was saying, this take is goofy. Because they don't take into account of all the injuries that the Bucks have had since that championship run. Chris Middleton being one of them. And now Dame tore his Achilles, dealing with blood clots last season, because this season's still going on, but last season, Giannis himself, the calf strain, which they probably thought was going to turn to an Achilles tear. Forget about that. Totally forget about that. But that doesn't still make any sense. Underachieve. Alright, if we want to say underachieve, I guess everybody who has one ring is an underachiever. Dirk Nowitzki is an underachiever. I guess people with no rings are underachievers like Karl Malone, John Stockton, Charles Barkley. But they'll never say that to them. I guess not. I guess he won't. He'd probably say that about Kyrie. Oh yeah, he definitely say it about Kyrie. He won't say it out loud, but he'll probably say it behind closed curtains, but he ain't gonna say it out loud because Kyrie is slapped. Anyways, in that case, if he's saying failure and underachieving and all this other dumb crap, LeBron's time in LA has been underwhelming. Now, hasn't it? Huh? But he won't say anything about LeBron because he don't want to get confronted by LeBron anymore. LeBron has 3 rings. Well, LeBron's supposed to have not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, 10, 11, 12. He's supposed to have 12, 16 rings by now. The way he was talking. LeBron was the exception of Cleveland. Even though the GM and the owner for Cleveland been ass backwards for LeBron. But outside of Cleveland, Miami and LA, big market teams, have kowtowed, been on one bend knee. I messed that up. Been on one knee, kissing the ass of this guy for the Lakers now, the last 8 seasons. Doing everything they possibly can. And this guy still has underachieved. And if it wasn't for COVID, they probably would have underachieved that season too. Somehow, some way. So what are we talking about, Stephen A. Smith? That's underachievement, where you have all the money, almost all the money in the world, with one franchise with the Lakers. A historic franchise that's known for winning, known for getting the top-notch players, and you still can't get one real ring. What type of time are we on? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? We just be talking about. What did I say, man? Some people shouldn't be where they be, shouldn't be where they at. Talking sports. Because they don't know nothing about nothing. They contradict themselves. But like I said, all this is just to get Giannis up out of Milwaukee. And if he does not leave Milwaukee in the near future, we're going to continue to keep hearing this stuff every year until he retires. And that one championship that Giannis has is worth more than what LeBron has done and what KD has done. Because, like we always say, Giannis stayed with the team that drafted him. These other 2 bums, yeah, I call them bums because they bums to me. These other 2 bums decided to jump ship and join someone else. And now both of their legacies are somewhat miserable. Because KD has not won since he left Golden State. And probably will never win again, depending on where he goes to. Because his type of play does not equal championships either. Ooh. Ha. Couldn't win it with his own team. Had to join Steph Curry's team to win it all. He. Who. Ha. And would invite that balding ass troll to my YouTube. Because I'll go toe for toe with him with freaking remarks and insults. Because I got all day. Actually, I don't got all day, but I don't got all time in the world, but I got some time. If you want to go bar for bar with insults. And you can't call I'm richer than you as being an insult. But anyways, Stephen A. Smith don't know what he talk about. You need to go cut that receding hairline. Stop worried about what Giannis is doing. Stop trying to worry about where's the next place I want to party at when the finals is around. I want to be Milwaukee. I want to party. So I don't want to be Milwaukee. I ain't nowhere to party in Milwaukee. I want to be in Miami. Dude, worry about the game of basketball and stop playing solitaire on your damn phone. You damn half a haircut ass. Stop short saying the N-word. But anyways, Giannis has not underachieved yet. Only people that think he's underachieved is the people who want him to leave, who think he should go to their team. You know, these are the same type of people that freaking would despise Giannis, insult Giannis when he was on the Bucks, saying he ain't good enough, saying he's overrated. But these same type of people when Giannis is available to be freaking twerking and clapping like seals for him to come on their team. And I do hate when I park out in the middle of nowhere, someone decides to park right next to me. It's like, you got all the spots in the world, and you come park next to me? But anyways, I could be doing a drug deal. But anyways, sorry for I'm everywhere. But, yeah, NBA champion, 2-time MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, was a 9-time All-Star, 7 times on the All-Defensive team, I think first and second team. Leads the Milwaukee Bucks, I think, in almost all categories, except for 3-point field goals. I know he's the Bucks leading scorer all time right now. All-Star MVP, Finals MVP, multiple first all teams, maybe some second all teams in there. I can't remember off the top of my head. When he was drafted, nobody really knew about him. So I could say, in the career in a nutshell, that has pretty much been a successful career. Because some people can't even get one championship. They forget about that. Some people can't even sniff a finals. It took Chris Paul until age 35, 36 to get to the finals for the first time. Shoot, Karl Malone and John Stockton didn't get to the finals until they got in their mid-30s for the first time. Some people don't even get past the second round. Joel Embiid. So, some people get injured in their whole career right there and then. People like Yao Ming never had a chance. So, what we talking about? Dr. J's a failure because he won one ring too? Moses Malone's a failure because he won one ring too? What are we talking about? Anyway, Stephen A. Smith is a Class A felony clown. I despise this dude. I don't know why he's on ESPN. There's way more people that are way more educated in the game of basketball and the history of the NBA more than him. But he sits here and makes $100 million to play solitaire in the NBA Finals. Crazy.